The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Chicken head, chicken feet, chicken necks is all I eat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. This is a very special edition because I brought a guest on my show to co-host with me this week, a Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. He doesn't know why, but he's gonna know why in a minute. I'll tell you that much. I got Scott Casey Gale on the show with me. Scott, how you doing?
Very good.
How's everything, Scott?
Everything is going very good. I'm having a good time.
All right, what are you playing with there in your hand, Scott? That's not a knife, is it?
No, it's a straw.
Okay, all right. All right, listen, Scott, I got to take care of some business first, and then we're going to start the show. I got to talk about my sponsor, kayfabecommentaries.com, and this brand new DVD they got out, Ravens Wrestler Rescue, and basically what the concept is of this, Scott. I don't know if you ever heard of this before, but basically, Raven the wrestler goes out, finds some independent workers that aren't necessarily getting over. What Raven does is he repackages them, he gives them a name, he gives them a gimmick, he goes as far as to get outfits made for them, he teaches them wrestling moves, he helps them with their promos, then he takes them back out on the independent scene to see if they get over with the crowd. This is a very unique series, one of a kind. What do you think about that, Scott?
I think Raven's doing a very good job, and I like what he's doing.
Have you seen any of these Ravens Wrestler Rescue?
Nope, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, Scott's going to check it out. You should check it out. Go to kayfabecommentaries.com, or you could see it on DVD and instant video on demand. You could see it instantly if you go to www.shootinterviews.com. That's www.shootinterviews.com. Also, I want you to know that yesterday I did my Vampiro review with the Disco Inferno, where we tore apart the shoot interview by Kayfabe Commentaries. Glenn and I had a lot to say about it. We're going to put that up for the brand. Also, you have till the end of the month to join the brand. $3.95 a month. The code word didn't fit on there. Look at what an idiot I am. The code word is brand. So go to VinceRussoBrand.com. You could join less than $1 a week. The code word is brand. All right, Scott, we got all that in. Now, Scott, do you know why you're on this show?
I know. How come?
You got a lot of heat. We got a lot of heat, me and you.
Yeah.
You want me? A lot of heat, me and you, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Scott, when I send you an invite, a DM, okay, you can't write me back and say, okay, I'll come on the show as soon as I'm done talking to my friend. Scott, who are you talking to?
Oh, I was talking to Mitch.
Mitch who?
Smith, the guy that's on the show.
Is he more important than me?
No, you are.
Okay, so why do I have to wait till you're done talking to Mitch?
I know you just wanted to talk to me about some stuff.
Yeah, but when Vince Russo dials in, you got to drop everything, Scott.
Yes, I know.
You know that, right?
Yes.
All right, now here, listen, bro. I have a big bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, now, I watch your YouTubes because I keep an eye on you. You know why I keep an eye on you?
So I don't use any weapons?
Yeah, because you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
You're a lunatic, bro. You cut these YouTube videos. You're drunk. You're throwing yourself all over the couch. You got knives. You're out of control, Scott. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I have to keep an eye on you. I got to make sure you're okay.
Okay.
So now I come across this video this past week,
where
you name me to the YouTube Hall of Fame. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yes, I've been wanting to do that for a long time because, in my opinion, you deserve to be into the YouTube Hall of Fame.
All right, so you induct me into the YouTube Hall of Fame.
Yes.
All right, there's only one problem with this, Scott.
What?
I'm the second inductee.
Yeah.
The second, not the first inductee, the second inductee. And tell them who the first inductee is.
Andre Corbio.
Yeah, and what has Andre Corbio ever done for your career?
No, nothing.
What have I done for your career?
A lot.
I made you a big star.
Yes.
I got girls knocking on your door over there.
Yeah.
What has Andre Corbel ever done to make him the #1 recipient into the YouTube Hall of Fame and me #2?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You made the decision.
Oh yeah, you've done a lot. Andre Corbio has done a lot for his YouTube channel. He's interviewed wrestlers too.
Yeah, but he's not me, Scott.
I
He's
know.
not me.
I know.
He's Andre Corbel. As much as I love the guy and he's on the brand, he's a ham and egger at best.
Okay.
Can you just say that? Say
he's an ham and egg at best.
and I should have been #1.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what, Scott? I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a brown paper bag, so I had to get a paper plate.
Okay.
Okay. Now you know who this is. Who's that look like?
Me.
That's you. This is you, Scott Casey Gale. Because Scott Casey Gale, how can you name Andre Corbel #1 on YouTube? I'm going to take a firecracker and stick it up your butt and blow you to smithereens. How can you choose Andre Corbel over me?
I don't know.
Did Andre Corbel give you your own show?
No.
Who did?
You did.
I did. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Oh, so maybe I should just put you #1 and Andre Corbio #2.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yes, I'll do that. You're #1 and Andre Corbio is #2.
You want to apologize?
Yeah, I apologize. I should have inducted you first.
And you want to tell me Vince, I'm sorry, I'm a stupid idiot. I made a big mistake.
Vince,
Go ahead.
I am a dumb idiot. I made a
You're a dumb idiot. You made a mistake. I should have been #1.
Yes.
Not Andrew Corbel. Andre. What kind of a name is Andre anyway?
I don't know.
I only know one Andre the Giant, and Andre Corbel's a shrimp.
Yeah.
Is he paying you off, Scott? Did he give you money to get in there as #1?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right. All right, listen, Scott, that's all I needed you for, but I want you to plug your show to people out there. Tell them about this NXT show that you do every Thursday.
Watch my NXT review tomorrow.
Scott, why are you witching again? How many times are we going to go through this?
No, I just look.
Didn't I tell you last time to get checked for fleas?
Yes, I'm sorry.
But you're still itching, Scott.
Yeah.
All right, tell them about the show.
I do NXT reviews every Thursday with my special guest Mitch, and sometimes Nathan's on there. Then I have Jack on there. I have a lot of guests, and I talk about NXT, and I do paper bag rants and gimmicks, and I give shout-outs, and I do impressions of Cody Brainerd.
All right, yeah, and according to Scott, every match in NXT is a great match, right?
Yes.
All right. Listen, Scott, I'm gonna forgive you, but let's make this clear now. I'm #1. Yeah. Andre Corbel's #2, correct?
Yes.
And that's perfectly clear.
Yes.
All right, Scott, you could go now. I'll see you tomorrow when we do the NXT
I got
show.
book test mark on a picture book test mark on my phone.
Let me see.
See?
Scott, mamma mia. Scott, let me ask you a question. What is it worth to you? Yeah. What is it worth to you if I can get Brooke Tessmacher on the show and I bring you on the show? What is that worth to you?
That would be a dream come true.
That would be a dream come true for you, wouldn't it?
Yes, I would definitely want to talk to Brooke Tessmacher.
Would you behave yourself?
Yes, I behave myself.
You're not going to say anything, but I like your bazooms or nothing like that?
No.
You'll be a perfect gentleman.
Yeah, I'll be a good boy.
What would you talk to Brooke Tessmacher about?
I would say, how did she get a career started? What made her want to become a wrestler and stuff? And
you're not going to ask her out on a date or anything, or to come over to your apartment and see a stamp collection or nothing like that?
I would, but she has a boyfriend already.
All right. Well, so what are you, the jealous type?
No, but I would like to have a chance of her too.
All right, let's take one step at a time over there, right? Relax.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. Brooke's a personal friend of mine. Okay. She's already been on the show. I'll see what I could do, Scott. But you're not going to get on the show making me #2 in YouTube.
No, you're #1.
You think your buddy Andre can hook you up with Brooke Tessmacher?
No, I know you can.
I can. I can.
Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye, Scott.
Goodbye.
I'll see you later, Scott.
See you later. Bye.
All right. There you have it, everybody. Scott Casey Gale. Had to give him a little piece of my mind. All right, okay. Scott, you could go now, Scott.
Okay.
Scott, you can go. Oh, mamma mia with the Scott Casey Gale. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. A few things I want to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed my first crack. I promised you a couple of things at the beginning of the year. I'm a man of my promise. I don't say I'm going to deliver things to the brand and not deliver them. I told you we were going to do the Vampiro interrogation, and Disco and I did that yesterday. Very entertaining. I got to be honest with you. My wife said to me late last night, she goes, man, you sounded like you are having a lot of fun doing the podcast. And you know why? Because when Glenn is on the show, it is a lot of fun. That's why I've been friends with Glenn Gilberti for so long. One of the very few people in wrestling that doesn't take things so seriously. So we did the Vampiro. I had Vampiro quotes, and Glenn and myself determined whether they were fact or fiction. And listen, maybe we'll bring Vampiro on here to debate us. But there are many things in question when it came to Vampiros. You shoot, kayfabe commentaries, a DVD. A lot of things came into question. Glenn and I kind of determined what was truth and what was fiction. I got to tell you something else about Glenn that I really like. And I don't think Glenn even realized this, because he's too much of a knucklehead to understand this. Glenn has a way of putting things in its proper perspective. And, we started talking about, how, everything now is about the match and the 5-star match and the spot fest and the car crash and the stunt show. And, which is kind of silly when you think about it, because why would you want to be putting the spotlight on the fake fight when you have MMA in their real fights? It would seem if you're professional wrestling, you would want to go the extreme other way, which is the entertainment, factor, that is missing from the product today, in our opinion. So, it's just funny that the fake fight is the emphasis of the show when they're trying to compete with MMA that is a real fight, which makes zero sense at all. So right there, it is completely illogical. But now when Glenn and I were talking about that, Glenn also started talking to me about, and not only that, how many guys are getting hurt in the fake fight. Listen, we see the injury report with WWE. We see what a mess they're in coming up to this Sunday Survivor Series. Royal Rumble. All the guys that are hurt. All the guys that are not going to be able to participate because so many guys and gals are hurt. So during the fake fight, people are getting hurt. And, Glenn, once again, who was a worker, who still works, who knew what he was doing in that ring, also pointed out to me, well, not only are they getting hurt in the fake fight, they're getting hurt when it's supposed to be a work. And as Glenn explains it, the work is to not get hurt. You work the match. The match isn't real. So now not only is the emphasis being put on the match, but people are getting hurt during the fake match when they're supposed to be professional wrestlers and they're supposed to be working. You work it so nobody gets hurt. So if you could pull yourself away from that about 100 feet and just really look at the landscape and really look at what's going on, tie that in with the loss of the audience on Monday night, it's crystal clear to anybody that's not connected. Glenn's theory is that the people inside the WWE, the Triple H's, the Stephanies, the Vince McMahons, they're so close to it every single week. And let's face it, they do between, Raw and SmackDown, you're talking about 104 shows a year. They're so close to it that they actually believe that the product is good. They're not able to separate themselves from it, sit in the armchair, kind of look at the product from years gone by and figure out, what is wrong with this picture. So, Glenn had many, many good insights. We're going to talk about that as we do our Vampiro synopsis of the You Shoot kayfabecommentaries.com video as well. I got to tell you something. A couple of weeks ago, I was flipping through the channels last week, and I came across Total Divas. It was late Sunday night. I think that's when it's on. I don't even know. But I saw an episode of where, Paige's boyfriend proposed to her and asked her to marry him. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and by Paige's response, like, there was no way she wanted to marry this guy. I mean, she was caught by surprise. You could see she clearly, wanted to say no, did not want to marry this guy. Now, listen, I'm not saying she's not in love with this guy or anything like that, because she clarifies it this week. But you could clearly see she genuinely did not want to get married. So I was going to say something about the show after I watched it, but I got to be honest with you, I was hesitant because I don't know how much of Total Divas is a shoot or a work. I really don't know. So I don't want to come across as an idiot. I know in my experience with reality shows, they put the reality players in certain situations where they know they're going to get good television. So the reality stars aren't really scripted. They're just put in certain situations where you're going to get good TV. And listen, I mean, I've dealt with reality stars from Jersey Shore. I've dealt with reality stars from Married at First Sight, Jason and Courtney. I mean, they've come on the show. I've dealt with Johnny Fairplay from Survivor to some extent. So I have a good feel for how this works. They're not scripted per se, but they're put in these situations that's going to create good drama. So I didn't want to really comment on it, because if it was all a total work, I would have looked like an absolute idiot. But I got to tell you, it did not look at all like a work to me. Paige looked like she was totally caught off guard, and she did not want to get married. So we fast forward to this week, and I saw the clips online. I didn't see the whole show, but one of the clips is Paige telling her boyfriend, I'm not ready to get married. I don't want to get married. I shouldn't have said yes. I love you. I don't want to lose you, yada, yada, yada. But I in no shape, way, or form want to get married. So now I watched that scene play out, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. When I saw her reaction last week, she definitely didn't want to marry the dude. She loves the dude. Paige is only like 22, 23 years old. She isn't ready to get married yet. There was also another clip that freaking blew me away. And I didn't know a lot about this. And again, I don't know if this is a work or a shoot, but if this is a work, this guy's got a big pair of brass balls, and I like that. I condone that. But anyway, Paige tries to bring together Nikki Bella and Dolph Ziggler. I guess there was a moment last week where, Dolph went to make a move and Nikki slapped him, and that might have been a work. But anyway, she tries to bring the two of them together. I guess the backstory is they used to date for about 5 years. They broke up. Nikki Bella's now going out with John Cena. We see it well documented here and there on Divas that Cena doesn't really want to get married. He's been married before, and I guess he's got a bad taste in his mouth, whatever the case may be. But Paige is trying to bring Nikki and Ziggler together to be friends, and it's not working out so good. And Ziggler just starts taking these shots at Cena. Now, the shots were so direct and so straight to the chin. I have to think this was a work, and I have to think that, Cena knew Ziggler was going to say these things, because I got to tell you, if it wasn't, and Ziggler said these things on his own, there's no question to me why the guy's in the doghouse at the WWE. But again, I don't know. And I don't want to come across as a total mark, but I got to tell you, some of the shots that Dolph Ziggler was taking at John Cena, you know, I'm just putting two and two together. You know, if Cena's in on this, you know, why did they beat Ziggler every week? Why did Vince McMahon take the shot at Ziggler on the stage? Listen, let me tell you guys something at the WWE. If this is a work, the work sucks because there's so much more you could be doing to make it more believable and better. There is no question about that. So if this is a work, the work is weak. But the fact of the matter is, if it isn't, it should be. Not it should be. If it isn't, you should turn it into something because you got something here, which leads me to my point. I can't believe I forgot the brand and code. My point is, and I've said this before, whoever's writing Total Divas should be writing the WWE Raw. It's that simple. I saw 3 clips this morning. Each clip was about an hour, a minute 20. So, you know, 4 minutes, the total of 3 clips. That was far and away better than any 4 minutes that I saw on Raw this week. 4 minutes, 3 clips of a minute 20, 4 of them. Far and away better than anything I've seen in Raw. WWE should be negotiating with whoever is writing and setting up Total Divas and creating these scenarios and creating this drama, creating these situations. That's who should be watching your Raw show. That's who should be writing your Raw show. And I've said that before, and here I am. I'm saying it again. Because I'm watching Divas. Is this a work? Is this a shoot? Is it 50-50? I don't know, but it's got my attention. Raw, on the other hand, I could care less. Listen, I don't mean to be rude to people that ask me on Twitter and stuff, but they asked me, you know, who do I think is going to go over in the Royal Rumble? Who would I put in there? Listen, I honestly, I don't care. Like that isn't on my radar. You know, whoever they put over, I'll comment on. I don't think about wrestling that way anymore. You know, first and foremost, I don't get paid to book anymore. So I'm not going to say, well, this guy should go over and this guy should be the champ and this, that, and the other thing. I'm just not going to do that. Secondly, I don't have a vested interest in it. Thirdly, I really don't care. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm a critic. You know, based on my experience, I'm a critic, just like a movie critic, just like a TV critic, just like a music critic, just like a former athlete that is critiquing, you know, today's game. That's what I do when it comes to wrestling. So when I'm working and I'm earning a living by the members of the brand, that's when I talk about it. Outside of that, you know, I don't have any interest to talk about it. But, you know, again, man, whoever is writing that Divas show should be writing WWE Raw. It is such a no freaking brainer. And like I said it about a year ago. Here I am saying the same exact thing. I got a couple other things I want to cover with you. I'm going to cover with you the JBL situation and how I got to in contact with JBL, the things that were said back and forth. I'm going to share that with you. But before I do, I want to go through a couple of other things. I want to tell you, you know, I'm always getting, they make fun of me, the family, about the Goodwill. I go to Goodwill every other day. I see what's at Goodwill. I'm always made fun about Goodwill. And that now the big thing is I'm going to be 55 in 4 days, so I'll get the senior discount. So, like, that's all I've been hearing for 2 weeks. But the fact of the matter is, every now, you know, you might get one gem, like every 10 times you go. You might get a gem. You might get a gem every 15 times you go, but the gem is always there. And I went this morning, and I got to show you the gem I picked up, and I'll tell you why. This is an original copy of the Beatles' White Album. Okay, now obviously you could see, you know, it's not in the best or the greatest of shape. Here's the beauty of it. Inside the album, first of all, you have the original poster that came with the album. There's a poster, the words to every song. This, I don't know why it's stuck together here. I guess I should be careful. I don't want to rip it either. But here, I think it opens this way. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Here's the original poster that came with the White Album. Okay, so literally, this is an original copy with this poster. I got to tape that right there because it's going to drive me crazy. But I got to be very careful with this, all right? So this in itself is very rare, okay? But let me tell you something that's even more rare. Not only in this album did they put the Beatle poster, but if you're a Beatle fan, you know these. They have the 4 original photos of the members. There's Paul. There's George, rest in peace. There's John, rest in peace. There's Ringo, rest in peace. Now, if you can find these 4 pictures alone, you're going to pay $25 alone just for the pictures, and that's a good deal. You're going to pay $25 just for these pictures that were in the original copy of the White Album. So here I find a copy of the White Album. The records are in very good shape. The jacket's a little messed up. We got the poster. We got the 4 individual photos right here. $1. $1. Go to your local record store today. Pick up the Beatles' White Album. First of all, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to have the poster and the pictures. So forget that. I'll tell you that right now. Just pick up the album. See how much the White Album costs you used. Because I could tell you right now, you're not paying less than $25 for this album. $1. So my daughter, my wife, my sons, go scratch your ass. All right. I want to show this. This is Madison Bumgarner, a pitcher for the Giants. This is going to go in my collection. This came from a fan of the show to me as a gift, Miggy Bipolar. As I showed you yesterday with my camera, I have so many baseball statues in here and bobbleheads and whatnot, but I did not have this Madison Bumgarner. Now, I believe Miggy Polar lives in San Francisco. That's why I think he was able to get this. I did not own this. Mad bum. I'm a huge fan. Miggy Polar, thank you very much. All right, I told you during the week, we were going to go over the 4 Kiss solo albums, and I was going to rate them all from you, from the worst to the first. And when I put that out there, I got hundreds of opinions of everybody's order, which I really appreciate. I'll tell you this, nobody had the order that I had, including Bubba. Let me tell you a little something about this Bubba Ray Dudley character. First of all, I beat him to a pulp in Mount Rockmore. Clear as day, I hammered him, I slaughtered him because he made the popular choices, Chuck Berry and Elvis, Madonna me, Chuck Berry and Elvis. And people saw right through that, so I dusted him. Then he puts the lovely Velvet Sky up to playing me, seeking me revenge. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I think some of Velvet's choices came from Bubba, to be quite honest with you, because I dusted Velvet. I dusted Velvet in Mount Rockmore. I'm 2-0 in Mount Rockmore. I'm looking for a formidable opponent. So when I say I'm going to rate the Beatle albums, there's Bubba, the first one there, the Kiss albums, telling me the order they're in. Maybe you can get this one right. You know what, bro? I know the order of the Kiss albums. I've been a Kiss fan. Listen, I'm going to be 55. On my 16th birthday, I bought my first Kiss album, Rock and Roll Over. Do the math. 16, 55. We're almost looking at 40 years as a Kiss fan. All right, so I know the order. I know the order. And I'm going to give that to you right now. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, or if you're a Kiss fan and you remember, you got to go back in the day. You got to be irrelevant like me. You got to be old. All these albums came out on the same day. That was the gimmick. All these solo albums came out at the same day. And of course, the huge Kiss fan I was, I got them all the same day, as I'm sure everybody else did. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I was a Gene guy. No doubt about it. Hands down, nobody was even close. I idolized Gene. I had pictures of Gene all over my room. So, of course, the album I wanted to listen to the most was the Gene Simmons album. And guess what? Out of the 4 albums, this is the worst. And in a lot of ways, it pains me to say this because it is still the Demon. It is still Gene Simmons. And I'm going to tell you this. The more and more I think about this, and I think I'm onto something, I don't think Gene Simmons and the Demon are the same person. I think they're 2 totally different people. I think this is like, Paul McCartney died in 1967, whenever it was, Andy Kaufman's dead. I think it's one of these. This is not a heavy set, husky Jewish man. This is the Demon. This is not Gene Simmons. And I got to tell you, the Demon fell short in this album. Now, the first cut in the album, Radioactive, was probably the best song on the album. And I'll give you a little tidbit. Again, if you're a Kiss fan, you know this. At the time of this album, Gene was dating Cher. And there's a point in this conversation where I think a fan calls, Gene's hotel, gets Gene on the phone. It sounds like a groupie, like a fan. It's actually Cher because she was dating him at the time. But Radioactive, far and away the best song, the best song on this album. Burning Up with Fever, See You Tonight, Tunnel of Love, True Confessions, I'm Living in Sin at the Holiday Inn. That's okay. Living in Sin is okay. Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide, Man of 1,000 Faces, Mr. Make Believe, See You in Your Dreams. But I got to tell you something. The last song, Gene's The Demon's rendition of When You Wish Upon a Star, changed a lot of things for me as it pertained to the Demon. So listen, if there's any question that this guy is really a fat, husky, overweight Jewish man, that last cut of the album, that would be the proof in the pudding that it is indeed Gene Simmons. When You Wish Upon a Star clearly put this as the worst album of the 4. All right? So much for you, Bubba. This is the fourth worst. The next one, and I'm going to tell you why, and this was my second favorite member of Kiss, okay? The Catman, Peter Criss, who just turned 70 years old. I've read all the Kiss books. Every one of them came out with an autobiography. In all fairness to Paul, I didn't finish Paul's yet because there's a lot of pages. Paul, listen, we're Kiss fans. How many pages of a book do you think we're really going to read? Ace's was short and sweet. Peter's was short and sweet. Gene was rather long, but we got the gist of it. 50 pages in, he was just going to put himself over. Peter's was the best book that I read, and I'll tell you why. I think he was the most honest. I think he took responsibility for a lot of the mistakes that he made. I had a newfound respect for Peter Criss, and I am a Peter Criss guy. Just turned 70 years old. Now, let me tell you why people don't like this album. People don't like this album because it's very jazzy, it's very bluesy, and that's the kind of drummer that Peter Criss longed to be. When Peter first started playing drums, he was playing jazz, he was playing blues. That's what he was into. He didn't set out to be a rock and roll drummer. So now, at the height of their career, Kiss has the opportunity to make whatever album they want. They will produce separately, and Peter made the album he wants. And it's very laid back, and it's very bluesy, and it's very jazzy, and it's what Peter wanted to put out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that this second best song out of the 4 is on this album. You Matter to Me is a great Peter Criss song. And, it's got a little airtime on the radio, a great time. But then he plays a rendition of Tossin' and Turnin', which is absolutely, incredible. Rock Me Baby, Kiss the Girl, Hooked on Rock and Roll, I Can't Stop the Rain. Bluesy, Peter Criss loved Frank Sinatra. There's a little Sinatra influence in a little of this. This is far better than the Gene Simmons album, Bubba. Number 2, Paul Stanley. And listen, let's be quite honest. Going into this should have been the best album. Paul Stanley is the lead singer of Kiss. He's the lead singer of Kiss because far and away, he's got the best voice. So this should have been the favored to be the number 1 album. And there are some really good songs on this album. Tonight You Belong to Me, Move On. When Kiss got back together, they each played a solo song. Move On was the one that Paul Stanley did in concert. Ain't Quite Right, a little slower song there. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? Take Me Anywhere Together, It's All Right. Hold Me, Touch Me. I think of Me When You're All Right. That's a little wussy song. Hold Me, Touch Me. Love and Change is okay. Goodbye. So because of the voice, because there are some good songs on this album, the Paul Stanley album was number 2. Should have been number 1, no doubt about it. I think this was a surprise to everybody, and I think this is everybody's clear-cut choice. Ace Frehley's solo album was far and away the best. Rip It Out. I mean, it starts off hot with Rip It Out. Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind, New York Groove, which was the hottest song of all 4. I'm in need of love. I'm in need of love. And one day you'll be in need of me. Wiped Out, Fractured Mirror. This is a great album. And there's a lot of great guitar riffs on this album. And let me tell you something, man. Ace Frehley does not really have a singing voice. He's got a very unique voice that's very different. When Ace is singing, you know it. But I don't know if I categorize that as a good voice. But all in all, this was far and away the best album. And everybody practically voted for Ace. And it was the best one. So Bubba got that one right. 1 out of 4, I think he got right. All right, let me tell you about this JBL thing. First of all, obviously, since the Eric Bischoff interview and some of the defamatory remarks he made about me, and they were clearly defamatory, okay? Eric Bischoff flat out said I was a liar, in some points pertaining to the Bash at the Beach legal case with myself and Hulk Hogan. Not only am I not a liar, I presented the actual facts from the case that anybody can go online and get. There are legal documents where I clearly displayed, my side of the story, had no problem showing all the legal documents you want to see, and I presented them. And it clearly painted a picture of who wasn't telling the truth. But even with that, I still didn't call Eric Bischoff a liar, because I wouldn't call anybody a liar, quite frankly. I'd like to believe that he forgot some of the facts. Listen, man, it was 15 years ago. It was a long time ago. Eric, I'm going to be 55. Eric's older than me. So let's face it. There's a good chance he forgot some of the facts, because, again, the facts were documented in the legal papers that anybody can see. But I still won't call him a liar. He forgot, and that's cool. But he chose to call me a liar on national TV. Now, keep in mind, here's the funny part of it. Let's not forget. Let's back up a little bit, and let's not forget that I worked for a number of years with Eric Bischoff at TNA, one-on-one with Ed Ferrara in the room, with Matt Conway in the room, very closely. And I acted as a professional and carried myself that way. Just for the record, never during that time to my face did Eric Bischoff ever acquire. He had many, many, many opportunities to talk about Bash at the Beach, to slander me, to defame me to my face. Those conversations never took place. After he called me a liar, I again invited him to come on this show to look me in the eye, man to man, face to face. His excuse was, well, no, I'm not going to go on the show because I can't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. Well, you know what, Eric? You don't have to believe a word that comes out of my mouth, but I would think that legal documents, are factual. So if you want to read my words, read those words. Theirs is the same thing. But the fact of the matter is, He had every opportunity to confront me before, every opportunity to confront me after. There was never a confrontation. What does he do? He goes on, WWE Network, kissing their backsides to get a DVD, whatever it is that he's looking for, and he figured by burying me that would get him there. Well, good luck, bro. He got a DVD, so I guess to some extent it worked. But even if I had the opportunity to go on JBL show, I promise you I'm not going to disrespect Eric Bischoff and call him a liar to the entire world. That's not me. That's not my makeup. But anyway, since then, a lot of people have been clamoring, JBL, you need to interview Vince. You need to get Vince's side of the story. I sent Vince McMahon an email and let him know I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about the things I was said. I'm not going to tell you how Vince responded. Maybe one day I will. I don't think now is the time, but he did respond to that. Basically his feelings and his beliefs. Okay. So I know a lot of people have been hammering JBL. So I saw a tweet, I think it was on Friday, and it was from JBL, and he said he was very proud of the interview that he did with Road Dogg was going to be appearing this past Monday. So I couldn't help myself. Listen, I got to be honest with you guys. When I see comments like on Twitter, like my hands immediately go to the keyboard, then I have to stop myself. But in this case, I could not. I mean, it was served up. So I answered him back. Congratulations, JBL. Am I next? I'm waiting for your phone call. So now I'm gonna be honest with you. JBL had blocked me, and I in turn had blocked JBL. But now, JBL had said on his Facebook or something, I'd love to interview Vince Russo. This isn't an invitation by any means, however he put it. But he was like, I'd love to interview Vince Russo. We'll see what happens, whatever. So now I'm thinking, you know what? I put that out there. I'm going to unblock JBL, because if JBL wants to reach out to me, then I'm going to unblock him, right? But in the meantime, he was still blocking me. So I unblocked JBL, and I'm Twittering away, and I'm doing my business. About 5 minutes later, there was another JBL comment, so his profile came up, and now not only am I unblocked by JBL to JBL's account, but he's following me. So now I figured, great, I'm going to take this opportunity. I follow JBL right back. And you guys know how it works. When you follow each other, you could DM. So now I DM'd him, and I was very high road, very respectful. Listen, I'd love the opportunity to come on your show. I think it's only fair that you tell two sides of a story. I will be respectful to you. I will be respectful to your show. Yada, yada, yada. Very respectful DM. JBL wrote me right back. And he said, Vince, I'd love you on the show. He explained to me. He said, listen, I didn't know how Eric was going to answer questions. And basically, I'm not going to edit what somebody says. I don't have that right to edit their words. I agree with JBL 1,000%. Listen, I still have heat with the WWE with some stuff China said on my show, but I'm not going to edit China's words. China had a story. She put her viewpoint out there, her feelings out there, and that was the interview that ran. So when JBL said that, I totally understood that. I didn't expect the WWE to edit out, Eric Bischoff calling me a liar. I expected them to give me an even platform, with such defaming remarks. That I expected, but I didn't expect them to edit the interview. So, JBL said, listen, man, there's I don't know if there were a couple of interviews in the can, but we're working on a couple others, blah, blah, blah. He said, but I put your name on the list of one of the people I want to interview. And listen, I believe that. I don't think JBL's pulling my leg. I absolutely believe that 1,000%. But he also said to me, Vince, at the end of the day, it's not my call. And I know that too. for JBL to interview me, all that's got to go through Vince McMahon. And listen, I'm not by any means making me important to Vince McMahon, because I'm not. But, you know, he would have to green light that. So, you know, I believe JBL put my name on the list. I believe it's not up to him. I can only hope at this point that the WWE and Vince McMahon do the right thing and, you know, give me the opportunity. You know, I will answer any questions they have. I don't run from anything or anybody. You guys know that. And here's the funny thing. They just did Road Dogg this past Monday. I didn't watch the interview, but again, people are tweeting me and twitting me and all this stuff that my name was brought up again and my name was mentioned, which boggles my mind, because you had 2 interviews with 2 legends. My name is getting brought up. My name is being mentioned, whether positive or negative. I'm not gonna be interviewed on the show. I mean, that makes absolutely zero sense to me. So I wrote an email to Vince McMahon. I told him, you know, JBL and myself exchange pleasantries. I'd love the opportunity to do the interview, to tell my side. If the WWE was unbiased, I don't see what the problem would be to this. You know, and I just said to Vince, I'll wait and I'll hear, and I'd appreciate the opportunity. And I got back the 3-letter message from Vince that I always do, THX. So we'll see what happens. But again, I just got to tell you, for my name to keep getting brought up, and then for them to not extend, you know, well, let's bring Vince on here. If anybody's got something to say, if somebody's got a charge, let's hear what he has to say. To me, that's just dirty. It's just it's dirty, and it's not fair, and it's not a, you know, it's I don't think that's right. And I got to be honest with you, I think the WWE gets itself in a lot of problems when all they have to do is the right thing. You know, all they have to do is do people right. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times that's not going to cost them anything. But, you know, they kind of have this attitude. You know, some people are in the club. Some people aren't. When they're done with you, they're done with you. I don't agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that helped me throughout my entire life that I never forgot. I'm not just done with people when I'm to the next level. That's not who I am. You know, they always say this: you're going to meet the same people on the way down that you met on the same way up, and I honestly believe that. So, if they just did the right thing by people, man, you know, just this week, man, reading about Iron Mike Sharp, you know, and at the end of his life, like, this guy's living in a basement. You know, if I was reading correctly, he lost a leg. I mean, the guy is just, he's there, but he's not there. And, you know, I'm thinking of my images of Iron Mike Sharp as a kid. And listen, back then, jobbers were stars. You know, he was a star. You know, Johnny Rods, you know, what was a job. I'm sorry, Johnny Rods was a star, even though he was more or less a job guy. The jobbers were stars. The jobbers were stars up through, you know, freaking Brooklyn Brawler and people like that. But, you know, Iron Mike Sharp was a star. And then to just fast forward, you know, 30, 40 years later, whatever it is, and the type of condition that he was in his last days, living in a basement, getting around in a wheelchair. I don't know how that happens. And I'm not by any way, shape, or form saying the WWE is responsible for taking care of everybody and everything. But at the end of the day, man, a lot of these guys cripple themselves inside of that ring. And, you know, at the end of the day, to help them out, to help them get by, to give a phone call, to thank them, to, you know, buy them groceries for a month. I mean, whatever it is that you do, for people like that in that condition, it is going to raise their spirits so high and they're never going to forget that act of kindness. And as I said, don't get me wrong, the WWE does do this. I know people that they do it with, but the problem is it's selective. You know, they choose who's going to be in the club and then who's going to be in the outhouse. And I hate that. It drives me absolutely crazy. People are people. We've all made mistakes in our life. If they're in a position to help other people, then help other people. Listen, I'm no billionaire, you know, as Vince likes to declare himself on TV. But I promise you this, if I was a billionaire, I would be taking care of everybody that got me there. I'm going to tell you this, man. It is an absolute joke, you know, that, all the shows on the WWE network that they're making money from, that, $9.95 a membership. It is a joke that the people in those shows are not getting royalties from those shows. Listen, actors get royalties, writers get royalties, producers get royalties, you get royalties. Freaking Ed still gets royalties from USA Network, from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Ed, what was the other one? Weird Science. He still gets royalties from them. There isn't a single writer in WWE history that gets a dime from all those shows on the WWE network that were written. You know, they put up the Attitude Era on there, 97, 98, 99. I have not gotten a penny. Not a dime. And you know what? Can I go out and get a lawyer and do this, then the other thing? Yes, I can. But you know why I don't? Because I expect people to do the right thing. And if you're benefiting monetarily from my work, 20 years after the fact, the right thing would be to not only compensate me, but compensate every wrestler that was involved, compensate every writer that was involved, every producer that was involved. That is the right thing to do. Remember, whatever exclusivity there was, and I have a hard problem saying that word, I don't care. Whenever agreements were signed, there wasn't all of this stuff is going to appear on the WWE network in 20 years. That was never in any agreement. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't even have a contract with the WWE. We didn't even have a contract where I signed all my rights away to everything I wrote and created. But the fact of the matter is, nothing. And you know what? That's cool, because I believe in karma, and I believe in what goes around comes around. So I believe they should be doing the right thing, not only by me, by a lot of people. They don't. So then what do? At 55 years old, I got to go out and make a living. So I'm making a living on what I know and where my expertise was, and it's 20 years in the sports entertainment business. So I come on here to you. I tell you like it is. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you like it. I don't personally attack anybody. I look at this as a critic. What works, why it works, what doesn't work, why it doesn't work. That's what I look at. And what happens? Because I don't sit here and put it over to nauseum and everything was a great idea and everything was a great angle and Vince McMahon is God and this, that, and the other thing. They have heat with me. So my question is, maybe somebody from the WWE needs to contact me and let me know how they would like me to make a living. Because I don't get any royalties from any of the work I did, which they're benefiting from. When I go on here as a critic and make money on my own and, shoot straight with you how I feel, if I'm not putting them over to nauseam, I have heat with them and they bury me on their shows. So I at 55 years old, I would just like somebody to explain to me from there, how am I supposed to make a living? How am I supposed to take care of my family? I'm not a billionaire. I do what I got to do to get by, just like everybody else out there. And I'll be quite honest with you. If you can't take the professional criticism, which never gets personal, I never get personal about anybody. If you can't take the professional criticism, then you're immature. And it's immature to take shots at me because I'm fairly criticizing your product. And you bury me and you slander my name. Why? You really want to know why? Because you know I'm right. because you know what I'm saying is right, because you know it used to be a hell of a lot better. And who was involved? I was involved. And what does that do? That just pulls on your throat, constantly pulls on your throat. Why can't it be as good as it used to be? Screw that Russo. Throw him under the bus. Throw him under the bus. And you know what? All of that is absolutely childish, immature, and ridiculous. But you know what? It will never stop me from doing what I do. I am who I am to a fault. That will never, ever change. And I have you to thank, members of the beloved brand who are watching this. Thank you so much, for your continued support. Again, I only ask you, if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the work, to renew. That's just as important to us as brand new members. That's it, everybody. Tomorrow, right here on the brand, part 2 of the interview with Ed Ferrara, where we talk about a lot of things. My favorite interviews are those with Ed. Hope you watch it. Hope you enjoy it. Take care, everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Bill DeMott, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited about everything that's gone on with the brand and with Vince Russo and being on the brand and being part of that crew. I want to thank Vince, and we're so happy to announce that now the BDE is its own channel on the Realm Network, and you can get all the past podcasts, and you can go on my YouTube account and you can see the Bill DeMott experience and all of the past things that we've done, and we're looking forward to the future on the Realm Network. Again, Vince Russo on the brand has started something that he can't control himself. And the BDE is now its own channel. And you're going to get shows like Turning Point, where I'm going to be talking about wrestling, the thing that everybody's been waiting for the past 6 months on the Realm Network. With Bill DeMott, I'm going to talk wrestling. You're going to get Face Value with my daughter, Casey. And we're going to talk about life. And you take it at face value. We're going to be serious. There's going to be the Turning Point. There's football with Miss Paula, and there's Paula's Twitter account, and you have to hook her up. You have to tweet her, because we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to finish out the year strong with football with Miss Paula, and it all happens on the Realm Network. And right now, you can get your subscription, $3.95 a month, but if you put in the promo code BDE16 right now, $2.95 a month, for the BDE on the Realm Network. Promo code BDE16 is the coupon. Put it in there. $2.95 a month. You get Turning Point. You get Face Value. You get the interviews with unbelievable people. David Brady's coming up, and you can subscribe to this channel, and then you can go and watch the Bill DeMott Experience on YouTube, and you can subscribe to the Bill DeMott Experience on YouTube. All for you. Bill DeMott, all month long. We have football. We have Turning Point. We have Face Value. We have interviews. I'm going to catch up with Vince every now and again. Vince and I may break off and start another show. But it all started with the brand and Vince Russo. And it's grown to the BDE on the Realm Network. And we're excited. We cannot tell you how excited we are. And if you look on the bottom of the screen, click on that site. It takes you right to the subscription page. We're going to have fun. We're going to be serious. We're going to laugh. More importantly, we go back to having fun. But the Realm Network's about to blow up in 2016. And right next to the brand now, you have the BDE. It all started somewhere. It started with Vince. Now it comes to Bill. We're going to have fun. Turning Point's going to be great. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to have wrestlers, men, women, old guys, young guys, sometimes just me giving you an opinion. Face Value is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. You don't want to miss one episode. We went on location. It's coming up. It's must-see TV. And for everybody on iTunes, I'm going to give you something to listen to in the traffic. I'm going to give you something on the ride. I'm going to give you something. And it happens here on the Realm Network. So don't miss out. I cannot express enough. It's $3.95 a month for the BDE. But if you put in the promo code right now, BDE16, that's BDE16, $2.95 a month. We're going to be throwing specials at you. We're going to be throwing shows at you, and we're going to entertain you. More importantly, subscribe to the Bill DeMott Experience. We're going to show you exactly what entertainment is, and we're going to make you laugh. We're going to piss some people off along the way, and hopefully we're just going to have some fun. So to Vince Russo and everybody on the brand, thank you. To everybody on BDE, thank you. To the Realm Network, thank you. 2016, big things for the Realm Network and the Bill DeMott Experience. Subscribe now.